Hey guys, it's Matt. Back at the shopping center. We do this once a year or so. It's early. It's like not even 11, so it doesn't look like there's anybody here, but it's doing pretty well. It's the Marchwood shopping center. It's doing pretty well. Just go around here. The Goodwill basically keeps this place in business. It does a heck of a business. There's usually always a car driving up, dropping off. That used to be a workout center where I used to work out. Now they just have Zumba classes. Have been in there for years. That's the old Goodwill. That's where my stepfather worked for 30 years. And then this is where I get my water. That's what I just did. Been drinking that water, Great Oak. Been drinking this water for 20 years. Matt, it probably comes from a tap. Probably. Oh, this is the big loss here is this Marchwood True Value hardware store here. It was incredible. The owner Dave died 7 or 8 years ago, and his wife ran it, and it wasn't run well after Dave died, and it was just great for me to come down. They always were able to help. They had knowledge. It just doesn't exist anymore. Now they're converting it into what is it? Puffy Park. They're converting it. At least something's going in there, you know. I don't want this shopping center to totally die out. They're converting it into Puffy Park, indoor playgrounds. Well, don't the kids spread their germs around even more? Hey guys, it's Matt. And what more needs to be said about the state of affairs in this economy, or this world for that matter? A Marchwood hardware run by a local owner that knew the entire community, who would help you, and people that had been there. There are certain staff I remember there were years and years when I first moved to the Exton area in 2002. A very helpful community in a hardware store. Help you build anything, help you get started in a project, replaced by a Puffy Park. That is, what else better sums up the state of affairs? Legitimate things replaced with absolute bullshit. Now, not just in a store. This is happening across reality, across the board. Things that were legitimate replaced with absolute horseshit. Boy, is that the greatest microcosm, whatever that means, I've ever seen. As you guys know, every summer we go back to the Marchwood, the Marchwood Center in Exton. This was towards the end of the summer. I mean, this was filmed at least 6 to 8 weeks ago, or a little bit more. I just never got around to showing it to you. There was other things to talk about. And nothing revolutionary as I'll show you 3 or 4 more clips taking the camera around the shopping center. We'll, in general, talk about basically the whole reality is trying to create, I'd hate the word, but a Potemkin village, where even the stores and shops are now false or some sort of facade, or you don't know who's behind it. You'll never know the owner. The whole world is sliding. This is a metaphysical reality itself observation. The whole world is sliding into bullshit. You know, the dentist office where my mother goes has been over there forever. The cigar place has been there forever. Fine wine and good spirits. That's not the one I worked at. I did a seasonal job at the liquor store for the state of Pennsylvania. But there's another big loss. Not just the Marchwood hardware. Mario's Italian. See, let me focus in. There's a sign on the door there, that little white sign says, after so many 30 years or something, we're closing our doors. And older guys ran it, and it was a nice little, you put that little Italian place anywhere in California, anywhere, it's the best in the whole state. I don't know why they can't do pizza and things out there. This place was not, it was good. It wasn't extraordinary. You place that in California, it's the best in the state. It's just strange. But they closed up. But they, I don't know, they kept strange, the last 5 years they kept strange hours. Anyway, so it's kind of quiet here, guys, but it's doing, I've been here, in the afternoon, 1, 2 o'clock, and it's pretty busy. The Marchwood Tavern down there does okay, and it's holding its own. So look, at buildings are a little run down and everything, but it's holding its own, which is good. Guys, if anybody's new, what we're doing here, we've done, is it 3 years in a row or 4 years in a row? The Marchwood Center in Exton, Pennsylvania, is my litmus test, whatever that means, as to how the economy is doing. But there is no real economy anymore. We'll talk about some of this stuff on the back end. There is no real supply and demand anymore. If anything were real, we would have had a gigantic crash depression probably in 2008, 2006, 2008. That was what they brought forth. That was a managed banking crisis, all cooked up, all so they could make more rules, completely digitize everything, make the stock market went from 95% fake to 100% fake, where there are no supply and demand forces anymore. So this is just, I understand now that even if the Marchwood Center is full of shops, that really doesn't mean anything anymore. Somehow this reality can create and fuel a fake economy. And how many stores, I want to talk about this a little bit later, how many stores in your area, when you drive by, you say, how does that store even stay in business? I never see a car in that store. A few come to mind down on Route 30, Lancaster Avenue, and down still in Exton. One's called Insomnia Cookies. They deliver fresh cookies, hot. They'll deliver. Who's ordering little baskets of cookies? I never see one light on. One light on in there. I never see little gnomes coming and going. No elves that want to be dentists. Nothing's in. There's another one that says fresh egg rolls made just 2 days a week. I'm going to go down. I'm going to take the video camera. I'm going to go down on Thursday or Friday and see. Can I get some egg rolls? They're open like a few hours, just 2 days a week. Who's buying egg rolls 2 days a week? So you have these stories. There's these shops that pop up, and it's very indicative of, even if it's real, it's fake. There's a real, for these small shops, if it's not Notnilc, I mean, there's somebody that started it, but they don't really need the money, or they got some sort of tax write-off or grant. Who knows how they started it? They're following the download of the reality right now. Is there's these shopping centers, even though this one is becoming very ghetto, absolutely becoming very ghetto. They can't get too run down. The Notnilc has to fill them up with something. Even Insomnia Cookies. I told you last time we did this, I probably showed you, there was this place on the other side of where you're looking at now called Tom's Jerky. This is a little shop that sold different types of jerky. I never saw in 5 years, I never saw one person go in. I never saw a stray dog walk by and take a leak on the door. Who's buying jerky, and how is this person staying in business? You have the same stories that I have. It's very much, in my opinion, even if it's real, it's fake because it's behind the scenes. Somehow Notnilc accomplishes all this. And let's just finish this image. The reason I showed you this, back to Marchwood Tavern there, during 2020 See the VME, they still have the damn barriers. See those yellow barriers? I mean, this is this summer. They had the yellow barriers all the way out, and you were allowed, per the new laws, to make sure these shops all stay in business, you were allowed to build out into the parking lot and serve out in the open air into the parking lot. So they had a big square. And this parking lot, again, what I'm showing you here, it's very quiet. It might have been a Monday morning or a Tuesday morning, 10 a.m. It gets busier. It looks completely dead. Like, Matt, how could any of these shops stay in business? It does better than what I'm showing you. But the barriers were out, and it was a big square in the parking lot. And I simply, there was a, you know this story. Well, many of you haven't been here for years and years. Sorry. There was a table just 2 feet away from one of the barriers. So I stepped over the barrier, and I just sat down. I took 2 steps, and the waitress came over to yell at me because I entered the seating and the eating area without a mask. I took 2 steps inside the barrier, and she was like getting angry. Of course, I had to fight with her a little bit in my condescending fashion, and I haven't been back. It was such an ugly experience. I have not been back to this place. I figure the waitress or the waiters carry the general egregore sentiment of the ownership, and you're not going to have a waiter or waitress that's nasty if the ownership is true and genuine. The feel of it's like the way they say there's a corporate culture. That's the egregore to a degree that hangs over the place, but I don't want to get into that now. So I said, well, the table. Well, Miss, I didn't do the Davenport thing, but I was kind of like, that was my attitude. You're from Davenport. You're really smart. The table's right there. When I sit down at the table, I don't have to wear this mask, right? Well, I didn't have one. It was back in the car. I don't. And she said, when you sit down, you don't have to wear it. And then outside the barrier here is like 2 feet away. I don't have to wear it. Well, I'm just in the parking lot. Of course not. So just the 2 steps to get to sit down, I have to wear. Like what if I just like flew like Superman and landed in the seat? Would I have to wear? Now it wasn't that bad. I wasn't that condescending, but I did have a little dispute with the rules of the. It was the download. It was how many did we see during the See the V Me? The parroting of everything that they were told to parrot. It was the download. We saw more download in See the V 2020 than at any other time in history. The download came out blatantly. She said, well, the rules are the rules. No walking through the seating area without, I'm here to just enforce the rules. This is a very, I don't know what she said. She didn't say this is a very reciteer situation. She probably said, this is a very serious situation, and we have just strict rules here, and I'm just following them. But like not just saying, don't blame me, the messenger, kind of nasty. The way anyway, I guess there's no reason to go on. I never went back, and it doesn't matter. They do better than most of the shops and places in this Marchwood center. I didn't show you these stores. That Chester County Travel Agency's been there for a long time, but things go out and they go in. And you're like, who's going to these places? It's like chocolate therapy. I mean, who's possibly? How do these? A lot of businesses, in my opinion, it's just. I don't know, retirees start a business and they don't really need to make money. There's a lot of businesses like that, in my opinion. There was something there called Tom's Jerky. It was there for 4 or 5 years, where there's a blank sign there, Tom's Jerky. I mean, this shopping center, who's going in and buying enough jerky to keep these places in business? This is relatively new, this Lebanese restaurant. And the first vet I took Belle to was there. It wasn't the greatest experience. I guess it's still open, although the cars are there. Every time I've driven by many times, it looks like it's almost closed sometimes. But I found a much better vet not too far away. The first time I took Belle anywhere, I had no idea what I was doing. And what has it been? If you include Cooper and Gouda, 6 cats later. Little Exton Pharmacy's a pretty good little store. It's holding its own. It's a lot busier in the afternoon. If anybody's interested in meeting me at the Puffy Park, this is probably where I'll be spending my... Matt, that's sick. Don't even say that. There's little kids in there. Yeah, I'm sorry. I won't be doing that. This is what it was. It's True Value Hardware, but it was run just like a mom and pop shop. Dave was the owner. Mom and pop shop from the 40s or the 50s is what it felt like. Replaced by absolute bullshit, as I showed you. The fucking Puffy Park. I took this on the last week it was open. The Marchwood True Value store closing, everything half price, and yeah, I went in and they had a lot of metal, like metal I use for the Russian stoves, angle irons and metal and stuff. It's very expensive. And at the end, they were blowing it out at 60% off. Well, I would have rather had the store around for 20 more years and foregone on some of the angle irons and some of the lintels. But it was anyway, it was a shame. This is the only store ever, and I'm sure for the rest of my life, I will ever get a little upset over that it was closing. I was very nostalgic and sentimental. Remembered going to the store in 2002 or 2003 when I just moved into the house here. Little projects on the older house. I didn't know how to do anything when I moved in here. I'm pretty competent now. And this store, look, okay, man, we don't want to spend an hour with you as you cry over your lost hardware store. Get on with it. We don't give a shit about this place. Okay. But the point is, it's not just Don't Cry for Me Argentina about this store. It's in general the trends of the society. Legitimate things in the world. There's a metaphysical trend throughout all of reality. Legitimate things, real things, replaced by absolute bullshit and nonsense. Real people helping people, replaced with absolute bullshit and nonsense. People just think it's normal. This is not Notnilc, my friend. We're not doing this for no reason so I can cry over this hardware store. Okay, don't blow this off if you're under age 40 listening to me. The last of the great American stores, without a doubt, is the hardware store. There's probably a few. Honeybrook Hardware, I'll show you a picture, still exists right on the edge of Amish country. They have Amish working, and they may be Mennonites. I can't tell the difference. I don't understand none of it. But they look Amish, whatever. Right on the edge of the Amish community, and not going towards Lancaster, but toward Honeybrook Hardware. I'll show you a picture. Anybody under age 40, the last of the great American stores. Notnilc hates this. Notnilc can't stand this. Depending on how busy they were, the people there they would work there for years. They would know the entire community. They would help you, whether you were a farmer and you could rebuild part of your tractor engine, or you're just, I'm sorry, I don't know what else to say. I'm sorry to be offensive. If you were a housewife, that's what we used to say back then. It's not a big deal, those that are under age 20 who are triggered. If a housewife went in and didn't even know how to put a new bolt on the door, the person would help depending on how busy it was and how much time they could spend with you. That's what the Marchwood hardware store did with me in 2002, 3, 4, 5 until I became somewhat competent. I couldn't even drive a nail. Put it right on the back of my thumb. I didn't know shit when I moved in here. My whole family is very good at making things and building things, and I have that in me. It came to me very quickly. But I'm no master craftsman. I mean, you saw that years ago, that bullshit cement step that I poured, and I tried to compare that to some of the intricate stonework on the Cathedral of Cologne, and my work was absolute horseshit. But they would spend time with you. The Notnilc hates this. The Notnilc can't have people helping people. Two reality bubbles conjoined, interacting. People, the workers actually caring if the housewife or the farmer left the shop with the right things, and we'd follow up, was the project completed? The last of the great American stores before Notnilc, who was absolutely out to destroy this. Notnilc can't have any shop or store like this with people caring about people. Oh, it can't have it. And that's where the big box stores came. And around here first it was Heckinger's. That didn't work out for some reason. Big ass, it was before Home Depot, Heckinger's. But then the Home Depot and the Lowe's came. It just like the Walmart came in and just destroyed every little mom and pop shop. Yes, there's not as much true value hardware. There's Ace hardware. The only thing that resembles, other than what I'm going to show you, Honeybrook hardware is Ace. Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, they, them. It's a huge corporation, but it still feels a little bit like a hardware store, but not with the employees that come and go, and they don't even know. Half the time when I go into Ace, where are your, you have any real light bulbs? I think so. Well, don't you work here? What do you mean you think so? Haven't you been down every aisle? I know. Sometimes I've gone to the store 3 or 4 times a year, and it seems like I know the store better than the employees do. Tractor Supply is like that. It's kind of a neat feel, Tractor Supply, but every employee I've ever run into is a complete delinquent that doesn't want to be there. If you ask a basic question, they have no, what do you mean you don't know? You do work here, right? And I have been somewhat condescending with some of these workers, as you can imagine. So in my area, and it's still 35 minutes away, Honeybrook Hardware is the last of the great it's a big place, but it feels like an old hardware store. People are somewhat helpful. Although I've been in a few times, they weren't the friendliest. But, they have everything. They have knowledge and expertise, and they help you. I mean, they're Amish workers. They're not Amish. They're probably Mennonite. They can drive cars. There's a lot of different sects in Amish. I don't know how to talk about it. Some, no running water, no pipes, no electricity. I mean, hardcore the way it was in 1600. Others can use propane. There's some differences, but they look to me like the Amish. They have the same beards, they dress the same way, overalls, etc. So the last one is Honeybrook Hardware, and I'm sure Notnilc is eyeing this one. Notnilc doesn't like this, although it is generally left. This is right on the verge of Amish country. Notnilc has generally, I believe, maybe someone say, Matt, you need a lesson on this, has left the Amish alone, I believe. That I'd like a real expert to fill me in on how much, do the Amish communities have Notnilc headaches? Other than, what I would say, well, like it's eminent domain, they're going to build a highway through. They don't care about Amish. Whatever they build a highway, they're going to build a highway. But zoning, I think the Amish have survived that, or have kind of kept to themselves in terms of the many things that plague the rest of us in terms of Notnilc. But maybe somebody can fill me in the comments section. And for anybody about to complain, this video is not about hardware stores. It's about Notnilc replacing legitimate things in society and culture where people would interact and help people with absolute bullshit and nonsense like the Puffy Park. I mean, I'm thinking, I don't have great examples. I'm not ready to do this on the fly. Maybe I should pause. But it's even corporatized big expensive steakhouses. I mean, I haven't been to we went to Ruth's Chris or Morton's a few times when I worked for the big insurance company in Los Angeles, and some executive pulled out the gold card or something. Sure, but I haven't been. I mean, but it's like $100 for just the steak. The baked potato on the side, I think, was $40. They've corporatized even the big steakhouses, and even middle of the road, Longhorn Steakhouse corporatized, Outback Steakhouse. It's not possible for a local, I mean, maybe it was at some point, a local restaurateur, is that what they're called, to run a steakhouse? It has to be some corporate presentation. Almost anything in this society that was personalized, in this case we're talking about small businesses and shops, the Notnilc desperately wants to corporatize it. Gets right back to the email that Alex left yesterday about the real potential reason for the IPO stock offering. A personal success story, the Notnilc can't have that, especially if real people are helping real people. It wants to fold it into its board collective and corporatize it. And Alex said that it was a great insight. I've never thought about it. Matt, it's generally done through the IPO, this initial public offering of stocks, where the person that started the business, not a hardware store, whatever it may be, they don't care about floating that person $300 or $400 million for the public offering. They'll give $250 million to bums like Ben Simmons, who sit on the bench in the NBA. They want to float that money out to keep the economic engine going. They don't care about the person that started the business getting the payoff. But they want to then take the business and bring it into the board collective and corporatize it and make sure if you're going to have employees working aisle 7 that they're delinquents and there really isn't any more people caring about and helping people. It's like, oh, I thought this was your department. It's not my department. My badge says plumbing. This isn't my department, sir. I'll tell you what happened to me just the other day at Target. It was unbelievable. This email from Alex was brilliant. Says, okay, whatever it may be, doesn't want the core staff of real people pushing the business into national or international prominence or 50 outlets in the United States and Canada. At some point, it'll dangle the carrot of the IPO and we can take you public. Would you like to make $300 or $400 million in one day? Then we'll own most of it and then we'll corporatize it. And then the service will go down and it'll just get the same corporate logo and it'll be, even if it's real, it's fake. And they'll be like, that's not my department, you son of a bitch. That's what it can't have a real success story with people helping people. This is about reality. It's not about hardware stores, sir. And of course, in the United States, this is the ultimate example of the degradation of the hardware store. And I'm sure if you look into it, you could see the original roots of Home Depot and see the guy with the black and white, and he started it back. I don't know the backstory, and there probably is. Even if it's real, it's fake. There probably is a backstory, but that doesn't mean Notnilc didn't say, okay, these are the ones we're going to bring to prominence. And the person that started it, just like it happens over and over, a Notnilc repeating theme is the people that started it think it was all them. This is an Obama truth drop. Remember he said, if you own a business, this is coming out right now, an Obama truth drop. We couldn't understand what he was saying until now. Remember he said, if you start a business and you're successful, you didn't do that. Somebody else did that. Now we know. Now we know Notnilc probably chose Home Depot or chose Lowe's to bring to prominence. That doesn't mean they weren't at the forefront of what they were doing, weren't successful. The Notnilc isn't a creator. The Notnilc said, okay, this person has created a better mousetrap for a hardware store, and we're going to bring it into prominence and take it international and make it $100 billion company or whatever the market cap is. So, of course, you can look into the backstory and it seems completely legitimate to me and those that study reality. These were chosen by Notnilc, chosen to bring in a situation that exists now where the human experience is dead. It's gone. Even the checkout people at Lowe's, it's in Home Depot, it's all automated now, and there's just some person looking at the self-checkout. And they're just like, my scanner won't work. I'll be right with you, sir. Shut up. And there's no people even checking you out. You check yourself out. Of course, within a few years, there'll be robots and there'll be an AI like the Lochnar, a green glowing ball over the checkout. And you dare not try to slide the batteries across without checking them out properly, or it'll take your soul. It'll be a real Lochnar. That these places, their roots are probably legitimate, but Notnilc chose them, in my opinion, to go. And there, of course, has to be two, because this is a real democracy. Don't you know that, sir? This is real capitalism, where the best rise to the top. This is a free market here. That's why they have to have two to make it look legitimate. If it was just one, then that's a monopoly. The government would come in and break that monopoly up. The trust busters would break up a monopoly when they created themselves. They created they created the businesses that dominate the Fortune 100 overseas. They have what's called the footsie, whatever. It feels like some sort of foot fetish, the footsie 500 or whatever. They brought these companies into prominence. And because there's two, then the idiots on the street believe it's just capitalism, it's just competition. And on the other end of the spectrum, Walmart, another destroyer of worlds in terms of personal service or people helping people, or the mom and pop store. Folks, this is a retail wormwood. Walmart is a retail wormwood. I'm not even joking, along with Home Depot, Lowe's, and many others. Destroy the mom and pop store experience, whatever it may be, and fold it in to the corporate juggernaut. And this is a great example of, even if it's real, it's fake. See, Sam Walton may have created a better mousetrap in terms of getting better prices whenever he was starting these stores in the 50s, probably. I don't know. Sam Walton drove that old pickup truck. It's the same Warren Buffett story every time. Then the Notnilc says, this is the one we're going to bring to international prominence. Notnilc then picks a winner. It's the opposite of capitalism. Now, Sam Walton was probably doing things a little bit better, a little bit more efficiently. And the Notnilc stole it, said, here's your IPO, take your billions of dollars, whatever it may be, or got involved as an angel investor, whatever it may be, with nobody actively in on it, probably thinking they're working for Notnilc. This is the download and the frequency. To me, the Notnilc chose Walmart. And Sam Walton, people think it's all him, did it all on his own. This seems a little strange to a lot of people that just stumbled upon this channel. Probably chose Warren Buffett. We'll work through Warren Buffett the way a demon takes a host, potentially, to bring his businesses up to prominence. He thinks it's all him. The people that want an interview with Warren Buffett thinks it's all him, when he might have been selected. That Obama quote, boy, that I've never realized the truth in it until this moment. The famous Obama quote, back in the day when he was running for president. Well, there was no running, you know what I mean? They just had to make it look good, like there was actually a real campaign, you know what I mean? And he said, if you have a business, you didn't build that. Somebody else made that happen. We've realized now that's a truth drop. At least the major prominent businesses in the Fortune 500 or the FTSE, whatever that, the FTSE 500, somebody else made that happen. You might have a little bit better mousetrap, and then you were selected or chosen by Notnilc to come to international prominence with trillions of dollars thrown your way and huge IPOs and huge Notnilc angel investors in order to be a retail wormwood, to destroy the personal experience of the mom and pop store. People think Walmart just did this on its own. No, as usual, Notnilc was right there sitting on its lap the whole time. Thanks for listening.